For cheap and reliable MT, head over to aoa.com and use coupon code JACOB for 3% off. Vince Carter is one of the most exciting NBA players that I have been fortunate enough to watch in my lifetime. On the floor, he was an absolute menace. When I first started watching basketball, he was known as probably the best dunker in the league, and he was always exciting to watch in his time in Toronto. And even with the Nets, he was always just unreal, must-see TV because you never knew what he might throw down. In 2K, I can't really say that it's been the exact same. To me, over playing the years of 2K, he's been a little bit underwhelming, but we're going to go ahead and look back on the years of him in MyTeam and just kind of see if my memory serves me correctly, and just check out all of the Vince Carter cards that have been in NBA 2K MyTeam over the years and how they stacked up for their time. In 2K15, Vince Carter only had 2 cards. That wasn't that out of the ordinary for that point in time either, especially considering that he was still in the league. He had a 77 overall silver card. He was 37 years old at this point, well past of his prime, but apparently someone down in the comments was saying that it was one of the best silvers in the game, and I do believe it because he did have an 86 shot 3 still at this point, and he also could get to the rim and dunk for a little bit at a 79 driving dunk. Back in these days, stats just weren't really what they were today, so this probably wasn't too bad of a card for a 77 overall, but to be very blunt, I do not remember it at all. This is the card I remember from 2K15. The card art doesn't populate here, but this is what it looked like. It was the Onyx Vince Carter with the New Jersey Nets. He was a 93 overall. He had an 84 shot moving 3 with an 85 standing. Of course, he could dunk with the 99 driving dunk, 95 speed. Defense was a little bit of suspect. A lot of people in the comments are saying that he wasn't really the best, and that seems right because I don't remember really dying to have this card at all. This guy was saying doesn't feel like he's the best dunker in history or the most athletic, feels like Paul George or something, should be 50K or something. This guy here is saying steaming pile of garbage considering his price. We're going to go ahead and watch a little bit of a clip here from Gento just to kind of see how he was moving out there at that point in time.
Can we turn back the hands of time? Hold up. Hold up. That's a green release off his first shot? Maybe I might have to just jack it up with Vince. Maybe I'll just try to dunk with them some other time. Come on, Vince. Oh, you know what? I might have to put in T. Oh! Yeah, I'm about to put in T-Mac real quick. Hold up. Dr. J, I got you next time.
In 2K16, a lot of players started asking for a Raptors Vince Carter card. Of course, with his time with the Raptors is when he was doing the most crazy dunks and everything along those lines, and 2K finally did deliver in 2K16. They ended up giving him quite a few cards this year, starting off with a silver card because of course he was still in the league at this point in time, and then he did get another silver card which is a dynamic card, kind of like the heat checks are nowadays. And then he did get his Raptors Vince Carter card finally. This was just a gold card, so it wasn't that much hype or anything like that around this card at all. Or this card here, which was a gold also at an 87 overall with the Nets. But once he got this Amethyst card at a 94 overall is when the hype definitely started. He had like really good stats as far as shooting goes, speed and all of that kind of stuff for the time. Still a little bit suspect on defense, but at the end of the day, this card was very good for what he was worth in 2K16. A lot of people in the comments are saying he's just the GOAT. People are saying he's one of the better cards in the game. He's only 94, but I swear he's the best Amethyst card you can have. So a lot of people are pretty hyped about this card, and people were just as hyped, if not more, when the diamond dropped because I don't really know what was so much better about it, but he had about the same amount of badges. They upped his shot 3 to 96. I'm just kind of trying to compare the stats right now. It's really nothing too crazy of a difference, honestly, if you're looking at it now in hindsight. But people were definitely excited for this card here as a diamond. He actually lost the tab here. He actually got quite a few comments on here as well, even though this is later in the year. A lot of people were just saying, you know, his Amethyst will drop in price, which is good because the Amethyst was going for like 400K if I remember right. And yeah, this was later in the year, but a lot of people were still pretty hyped about it. People just saying, you know, The only problem was his defense, but other than that, he was pretty good in the game at the time, so definitely no complaints in 2K16. In 2K17, Vince Carter got 4 cards. He was still, of course, still in the league, so he had a silver card right off rip at 39 years old, 71 overall. And he did have a dynamic duo on this card with Richard Jefferson. I doubt it did anything of importance. He had a gold card for a moments card. He probably had a pretty good game, even at 40 years old. That has him listed out here. I don't think he was quite 40. Maybe he was, because he played with the Hawks when he was 41, 42. My years are definitely kind of blending together at this point. But this gold card had a 90 shot 3, which was kind of cool for a gold card. And then he did get his amethyst card with the Nets. This was in the drop in 50 set. This card wasn't too bad, pretty good all around, 80s in the shooting categories, driving dunk at a 98, so he could definitely dunk and shoot. His speed was an 89, so not too bad at all. But the real flagship card for Vince Carter in 2K17 was this diamond. This was a lock-in reward for the All-Star set. This was pretty similar to his diamond the year before. He did have a little bit better defense than the diamond of 2K16, but overall pretty similar to the diamond card from the year prior at 97 overall. Overall, not too bad at all. It was definitely probably a pretty expensive lock. I can't quite remember, but we have some gameplay of this card from Caldy to kind of just get an idea of how he was moving out there at that point in time.
Fucking compete. Vince Carter, first possession. Let's get it, boy. Get that shit out. Vince Carter, this is your time. Bang out. Posterizer, let's go. The first dunk with Vince Carter. Let's get it, man. Oh my god, another steal. And we're out. Vince Carter again. Woo, green light. I tried to dunk that shit, but I'll take the pull up. 6-2. Let's go, baby.
Once again, starting off the year, Vince Carter got a base card considering he was playing in the league for so long, man. Getting a silver, and then he did get a gold card. I believe this was maybe a historic card, not quite sure. Historic or moments. And then he did get an opening night card. This set came out so early in the year that this card was actually pretty usable. He had one badge and it was posterizer with like a 70-ish shot 3. So for the time when this card dropped, he actually wasn't too bad because it was so early in the game. And then he did get a card here with the historic collection, I believe. Kind of irrelevant, to be honest. Maybe he was good for the time, but it does not ring a bell with me. And then he did get another card in this Getting Bucket set at a 92 overall. This card got Hoff posterizer, and at the time, I'm pretty sure it was one of the only cards with that badge, so definitely fun to use. And he did get another diamond, and this card was unreal. This was a part of the All-Star Weekend set. And he was one of the top cards in here, actually was the top card along with Dominique Wilkins as the only 2 diamonds. And this card was pretty similar to the previous 2 years where he had like a little bit suspect defense, but overall very, very good. Like the defense wasn't even suspect, especially considering the meta of 2K18. He was overall incredible just by looking at his stats too. And finally, they gave him one of the best cards in the game this year actually as a Supermax reward. It would be pretty unreal if they gave away cards like this for playing online head-to-head nowadays, but instead, we get cards like Dark Matter, Larry Johnson that are very underwhelming. But back in 2K18, man, cards like this were rewarded for the top online players. He had 18 hoppers, which was unreal for the time, along with all of the important stats, like well into the 90s besides strength. Everything else, his rebounding was in the 80s and his block was in the 80s, but like everything else was in the high 90s, so this card was crazy. This was one of the last Supermax rewards of the year. It was, I think, sometime in June, July where this card was available, but all the top players got this card in endgame and loved him for the most part as well. Sticking with the trend here, Vince Carter starts off 2K19 with a silver card. Of course, he played it in the league forever. And then he did get a gold card from the Grizzlies and a ruby card because he did get a set of the signature series, which was a collection type that they did in 2K19. And when they did these collections, they gave them a bunch of various cards of different tiers. So he ended up getting a couple more cards from that set. And then he did get this Amethyst Throwback Elite card as well with one Hall of Fame badge, which was posterizer. And this was a free agent card, so that really didn't have much relevance. Here's another Signature Series one, which was the one tier higher at Diamond, and then he did have a pink diamond from the Signature Series as well. Came with 9 hoppers, 98 speed, 99 driving dunk, 96 shot 3, so this was actually pretty comparable to the Supermax card from the year prior at pink diamond, 98 overall. And then he did get, okay, the same card, but this one here he got at the end of the year, which was a Galaxy Opal. This came from the token boards, one of the last token boards that they updated in 2K19. He came with 22 Hall of Fame badges, including Limitless, Posterizer, just a whole bunch of different badges. He had almost every badge in the game on Hall of Fame besides a couple, so he was very, very good at the time. We're going to go ahead and listen to YBC's take from right when he dropped on how good he was compared to the other Opals on the token board at that point in time.
Vince Carter are the best 2 cards in the game that you can get off the Opal board. Vince Carter being number 1, Pettit being number 2. I feel like Vince Carter is better than every single one, including the new ones that just dropped. He's better than Mitch Richmond, George Mikan. Embiid, I feel like there's too many big men in the game, too many elite big men. So Embiid, I don't think should be the first off the board because you can buy elite big man. And Brian Scalabrine, I don't think is worth it. And when it comes to all the other old cards, those other old cards don't have the Hall of Fame badges and animations like Vince Carter does. So I'm going to say Vince Carter should be the first guy you get off the board. And once you have Vince Carter taken off, I feel like Bob Pettit should be the second. And for the third, I feel like it should be James Worthy.
Another year of Vince being an old guy in the league and getting a silver card to start off the year in 2K20. This was his last year as a card, as a silver, as a current card. So this is what he started off with here with the Hawks at 72 overall. And this was actually out at the same time, of course, because this was a starter card that you could start your MyTeam off with. It would eventually evo up to a Ruby. And I believe, if I remember right, I think I actually took this starter card last year. Of course, if you guys play this game, you know these don't have relevance for too long in the game. But just shortly after, he did get an Amethyst card in the Dwight Howard Spotlight Series set. Came with Hoff Showtime, which wasn't as big of a deal in 2K20 as it is on 2K21 current gen, but still a nice badge to have nevertheless. And then he did get a Diamond as well from a similar series. This one was for Jason Kidd. Came with quite a few more Hoff badges, including Hoff Range, which was huge. And then also he got 3 more cards this year, including a Buzzer Beater card that actually came out after this Opal card, because this Opal was one of the first Opals in the game. But a few months later, they followed it up with this Pink Diamond card. Not really sure what the purpose of it was. They were just putting out a lot of content. And just like they do a lot, like for this year instance, like gave away a Diamond Steph Curry months after a Pink Diamond one that was very similar. Same situation here. The Opal had 37 hoppers and the Pink Diamond had 36 hoppers with very similar stats. So they were very, very close. But to end off the year, they did have a Galaxy Opal Vince Carter that was a huge upgrade over the other Galaxy Opal, this one here, because this one came with 65 hoppers, and of course it was a GOAT card, so every stat was 99 overall. He was missing no badges in this game besides Steady Shooter, and everything was on Hoff besides like 4 of them. So this card was on paper really good, but the biggest thing is he didn't really have any signature moves like that. He had Pro 3 behind the back, but other than that, he didn't really have a good tween or anything along those lines. The Vince Carter jump shot wasn't exactly spectacular, and by the time this card came out, he was a walk-in, which made people not really want to get him. And also, there was just so many cards that could play shooting guard at this point in time when this card came out. So he wasn't really involved in the meta whatsoever in 2K20, but a cool flex card at the end of the year that clearly can't be called a bad card when every stat for this card was 99 overall. And that finally brings us to this year's version of the game, NBA 2K21 MyTeam. He had this Emerald card to start off the year as a promo. I think this was like a random card that was a reward card that was popping up in some packs. Didn't have any relevance as an Emerald card whatsoever. I think actually, now that I remember it, this was a locker code to do a challenge or something along those lines. But not very relevant outside of that. But he did become relevant when he got this Pink Diamond card from the Possessed Halloween set. He had Hoff Showtime, which was really big early in the game. He had that badge well before a lot of other players. He had Silver Clamps with Silver Range and couldn't be upgraded. But this card was out in October, so he wasn't too bad, just pretty expensive. And overall, not exactly the most insane card in the world as a 6'6" 2 guard, especially because he didn't really have any dribble sigs or anything like that, or anything to really, you know, separate him from other 2 guards at that point in time, besides just that Hoff Showtime badge. And then he eventually did get a Opal, which was a 98 overall with the Pantheon set. This card was okay, but not anything game-breaking by any stretch of the imagination. He came with 30 Hoffers, and they did give him some dribble moves finally. They did give him Pro 2, the Curry Escape, and moved his jump shot timing onto quick, which definitely helped. But when I tried out this card when he was first brand new, it was decent, but not worth keeping because there was just a lot of other cards in this set, like this Paul George that was really good. And you could even argue that this Dale Ellis was actually better on Next Gen. So that was pretty much all he had this year up until he got a level 40 Galaxy Opal, Dark Matter season reward for hitting that final XP Agenda challenge. So this card's really good. Tried him for the first time today on somebody else's account. He's better than I expected, I cannot lie. He comes with a total of 47 Hoff badges. They changed his dribble style to quick, which was definitely an improvement, and they changed his jump shot timing to very quick. Overall, the general consensus between the community is this card is pretty decent, but questionably worth the grind. It's just pretty questionable because there are a lot of other options right now that possibly are better than him, but it's kind of an opinion thing. I think a lot of people are kind of just craving for a new shooting guard because there isn't too many of them out right now. So a lot of people are going after him, and a lot of content creators are trying to get him as well, just for the content. As we can see here, you know, Carlos has already got a video uploaded along with HTB. Ty has one. SB Live was the first person to get him. He actually streamed for like 30 hours straight because this is the first season where you could just get all the XP right off rip. Didn't have to wait at all. So congrats to SB for getting that first one out the way. And overall, just a lot of people, you know, kind of indifferent about this card, but definitely not bad. I can't say he's not good. I tried him out today and he's better than I expected. Able to shoot better than I expected and able to dunk less than I expected, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Quick little history of Vince Carter. Hope you guys learned something, or maybe, you know, had a little throwback moment to a previous Vince Carter card you used in this game. If you did enjoy the video, go ahead and please leave a like. Subscribing would be cool as well. Whatever you want to do, any of that kind of support's free, so it isn't much appreciated. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day.